This episode is brought to you by members of the You Run Podcast Network, the Dewey Pod Monster, Voices from the Mausoleum, Pop Culture Reflections Podcast, Video Tasties, Movies for Days, The Ghoulish Gallery, The Aardvark and the Magic Moshi Do Red Dwarf, You Gonna Eat That Crust Podcast, The Girl and the Gay Podcast, The Horror Friendly Podcast, and the Paranormal Mysteries Podcast. All available at yourunpodcast.com. So we are here for the final part of our most listened to case ever.
Yes.
And we're going to rock in with another quote because this is now a thing and people really like it. And then something that I've made specially that I thought is just perfect for this episode. So here's your quote, Heather.
Oh my God. I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Which is perfect for how your life has been for the last month.
It's my life. Like me and Joe, if we have nothing else in common, I feel him on that so hard. We're still spending money. And my husband went to Home Depot today. What the fuck? When does it ever end? What the fuck?
I've also made something very special. I've done a mashup that I can only play a certain amount of because of copyright infringements and things like that. So I'm going to play this and then we're going to rock straight into our intro because I think it's great. So here you go.
May I have your attention, please? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I repeat, will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast True Crime, the most wild and exotic division of the You Run Podcast Network, and it's completely run by all of our listeners and all of our viewers. My name is Scott.
And I'm Heather.
And we are your hosts as we take you through the cases that you have chosen for us to cover. We do deep dives, we do facts, we share opinions, we share thoughts, we don't hold back. The best way to get involved in future episodes is to drop us a follow on social media. We're at You Run Podcast everywhere. Also on Rumble, we are exclusive video on Rumble at YR True Crime. That's YR You Run YR True Crime. So go and give us a follow there and you'll get all of the video episodes. You'll also get lots of exclusive content. Like you're going to get all of the Joe Exotic interviews just on their own, not with the episode, just the interviews, the raw, uncut interviews as well. You also get early access to every episode. So if you're on Rumble, you will get the episode up to 10 days prior to it releasing on podcast platforms.
That early?
Yeah, that early.
Usually with Patreon, I know like if you set up with Patreon, it's usually just like the day before. Like it's usually like, say if you come out on Monday, you get it Sunday or something like that. So
for example, this episode now, this comes out on the 15th of May for the world to hear across all podcast platforms. If you're listening there, hello. If you were following us on Rumble, you could have heard this on the 6th of May.
Yeah, damn. God, you just put more pressure on us, Scott. Damn day drinking. You're just like 10 days early, and I'm over here like, I forgot where my notes are at.
Maybe we should address my day drinking now, because it may explain my behavior. I've been out to a birthday party today, and I've been drinking for about 7 hours.
I don't know how you can, like, I know we're the same age. You're barely like an inch like older than I am. We're literally the same age. And like, I think it's just because I had a baby, but like one wine is like, I'm good for the month almost. Like I only drink, honestly, I'll really only have a drink when we're recording. I don't drink pretty much ever, never. One day it will return maybe when the baby's older, but no, I can't hang.
My babies are older now. I'm 9 beers deep and I'm ready to get really stuck into this episode.
Okay. You go, girl, because I cannot. Because if I were 9 glasses of wine, Oh my God. This would be me. Literally dead as fuck.
If you like the show, leave us a 5-star review. You can do that on Apple or Spotify. Share the episode with a friend. Tell someone you go, oh, I listened to this. You might really like it. If you
Yes.
want to financially support us, go to our shop, go and buy something, yourunpodcast.com. You can also contact us by email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or by leaving us a voicemail. And we have a voicemail. We've not had a voicemail for ages, but we have one.
I leave voicemails for your other podcast, but just because, like, well, that's me and I'm petty and I need to get out what I need to say physically rather than typing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We have one today, so here you go, Heather. It's kind of for you, really.
It better not be.
Sent this in a message, and Scott said I had to send a voice note in order to make it happen. And so I stopped mid Joe Exotic episode, stopped what I was doing at work, and walked outside just to say I would really like a t-shirt design of Heather's face with like a quote bubble that just says bitch ... because every time she says that I lose my mind, and it happens so much. I need it on a t-shirt.
I know what she's talking about, bitch.
Yeah, so that's Angel from Voices from the Mausoleum.
Yeah. I recognized her voice.
This is the You Run podcast, so ask and you shall receive. So now available in the yourunpodcast.com shop is this wonderful t-shirt. It's a t-shirt with Heather's face that says bitch and True Crime Unfiltered.
So you should definitely, if you can, mock up some more with my hair in different styles, because how funny, because like now as you see, I cut all my hair off. Sometimes I was wearing space buns. That would be fucking hilarious. Like I can send you photos, but like that would be hilarious to be like, what style of hair do I want? Because Heather can't fucking make up her mind. Well, it's because I'm growing my shit out. That's why.
You send me various different hairstyles and we will have multiple bitch t-shirts.
Okay, let's do it. I think I need to get one. Like I don't care. Like I'll order it myself. Like I need to wear my own face.
This is the final episode of the Joe Exotic case, and it has been a wild ride. It started out as a 2-episode case where we'd share our thoughts and we'd have a chat about Joe Exotic and the Tiger King, and it snowballed into multiple interviews with Joe, being blocked by Jeff and Lauren Lowe, having the US prison service pull an interview so it couldn't happen. This has honestly been so crazy from start to finish. Before we get going, I want to thank Joe again and his team for being so open to everything and so open to being pressured and ask questions that they didn't want to answer and sharing everything they did. And it's been a drama. And this finale is going to leave you with so much more drama than you thought existed within the Tiger King.
I don't want to be coughing on our episode, but it is too much. Like the more I read about it, even just going over things that you sent in the notes, I'm like, this is all like a fucking bunch of this fucking drama. Like these people, I want to say, I know we're fixing to get started, but like Lauren and Jeff Lowe, I have some thoughts and they'll come when they come, but like Lauren. Girl.
We've got lots to talk about on Jeff and Lauren. In fact, we're covering Jeff and Lauren. We've got lots to talk about James Garretson. We've got a little bit more of Carol Baskin. We've also got another interview with Joe. At this point, it's fair for me to say, if you haven't listened to episodes 1, 2, and 3, go and do that. This isn't a fucking Star Wars movie. You don't start at episode 4. Go back and listen to the bits that come before.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then this one will make perfect sense. I'm also going to reiterate, this is an opinionated show. Me and Heather are going to share our thoughts. Whether you agree with them or not, that's entirely up to you. We're all entitled to our opinions, but we're not like other true crime shows where we just go, here's the facts, thanks for listening. We go, here's the facts, that is fucked up, thanks for listening.
I mean, it's, opinions are like assholes and everybody's got one, but like, don't come at me about mine.
Yeah, our opinions are well-researched opinions. We're in a good position.
We try.
Yeah.
We try.
Um, as it's the finale, we're not going to fuck around. We're going to kick things off with Joe Exotic's interview straight away, straight off the bat. And then after that, because of the things he raises in this interview, we've got a lot to talk about. So are you ready to hear from Joe Exotic for the final time?
Yes. Yes, I am.
And for some context, Heather has not heard this interview until right now.
Yes. I'm scared.
Strap in. Here we go.
Okay.
Hello. I want to talk a little bit about them because they are, shall we say, sketchy? That they've got some skeletons in their closet.
Sketchy ain't even the word for it.
No.
Dude, I witnessed them. Well, I didn't witness them. I was aware, very aware, because they showed me videos. And they came to the office and bragged about it every day. Drugging and raping girls at their cabin at the zoo. And sex trafficking. And sitting in the office all day long with James Garrison with fake IDs, running up $10,000 and $20,000 bills to order stuff on Wayfair and Bowflex and Care Credit, and selling it online and selling it at James's little store that he had in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Sketchy ain't even the word for it. These guys are hardened ass criminals, and the evidence of that is on my Joe Exotic official website. Okay, and we have their phones. They gave my lawyers their phones, okay, trying to think that they were going to be the heroes after Carol didn't make them rich. You know, they thought Carol was going to take care of them, and instead Carol and Pete and the USDA turned around and took all their shit away, okay? All right, so they got mad and they handed over their cell phones and their computers, but they erased the front part of the phones, but they forgot to erase the back side of the phone. And my lawyer retrieved 416 phone recordings of the federal agents telling them how to lie, of Lauren. Okay, you gotta picture who we're working with here. All right, Lauren and Jeff fight, and they record each other to blackmail each other. Okay,
wow.
That's how crazy it is. And we have the phone recordings from Lauren's phone of her tape recording Jeff while they're fighting, of them admitting to raping two girls. I mean, plain out. It's on my website. Go listen to it. You'll freak out. JoeExoticOfficial.com.
Yeah, we'll share it on the episode too.
And then there's a 45-minute phone recording of how Jeff drugs Lauren and fights with Lauren because she didn't take enough drugs to have sex with men while he watched. They're sick people. And it's a shame that our Attorney General and our U.S. attorneys are allowing this all to continue to go on, because people like that don't stop. They're still out there doing it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's. I've looked through all of your evidence, so I've seen everything you're talking about. And with your permission, I'd like to share some of those clips in our episode.
Share it all. All of the fake IDs with James' picture on there.
Yeah.
With Chinese people's names. All of those were used to rent houses in Las Vegas for sex trafficking and to do bank fraud. We have all the evidence. John Phillips worked his ass off to get all this evidence put together.
Yeah, and this leads me now on to the murder for hire charge. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that I already know the answer to, but I want you to say it so everyone can hear you say it. Did you hire someone to kill Carol Baskin?
I did not.
No.
Jeff Lowe. Okay, Jeff Lowe. First of all, me and Alan hated each other. Alan will tell you that. Why would I hire somebody that I hate to go do something that heinous and not turn me in? Okay, first of all. All right, so Jeff called me one day and said, look, man, me and Alan were just fighting, couldn't get along. And he says, give Alan $3,000 to go back to South Carolina to clear up his warrants and get his shit together, and he'll get off the park and get out of your hair. Because every time I was moving animals off the park so I could leave, Alan would call and tell on me. Okay, he was Jeff's little spy. All right, so I gave him $3,000. And as soon as I gave him $3,000, and you can ask Rinke, John Rinke, as soon as I gave him $3,000, he turns it into this oh, well, I'm going to have him go on to Florida. And then he starts this, all he could talk about was killing Carol. And I kept telling Ricky, I said, this fucker's up to something, man. I said, because every day something comes out of his mouth about having Alan go kill Carol. And I had an inkling what he was up to, because that's who Jeff is. All right. So then James calls me every day. Hey, Joe, I got this guy that'll take care of Carol. I got this guy. Man, it took him a year to even catch me at the park, because I kept detouring him and coming up with excuses of why I didn't want to meet with him. So him and this ugly ass motherfucker that was an undercover FBI come up, and they corner me in my office, okay? And they stand in front of the door so I can't get out the door. And they start talking about how much, killing Carol, and all this other bullshit. And he goes, well, you got to go get me a gun from a flea market or somewhere. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I never did that. Then he was like, oh, well, you got to get me some burner phones. Okay, well, I'm not doing that either. Okay, then just out of curiosity, I was like, well, how much do you charge for something like this? And he goes, $10,000. And I pointed at my computer because I was doing the books, and it was $13,000 in the red. And I was like, well, I got $10,000, so we ain't doing that either. And he says, well, I'll do it for half price. And I said, well, I ain't got $5,000 either. Okay, so I said, and he goes, well, what's Carol's address? And I said, well, you got to ask Jeff Lowe. I had so many files on Carol of searching and looking for Don Lewis's body. I knew her address, but I didn't want to give it to him. And that's on the recording of the FBI recording. I said, you have to ask Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And did I say, yeah, I gave Alan $3,000, because I knew what they were up to. And you got to keep these people in mind. They beat my new husband up in my own driveway. Okay. So I had to play along to a point without crossing that line of agreeing to anything or doing anything for him, just to get him the hell out of my office. And as soon as I got him out of the office, they left. And then for the next 8 months, James was still hard on it. Hey, I got this guy, he'll do it for you. I got this guy, he'll do it for you. And there's text messages, and I'm sure if you've really looked through all of the evidence that we have, there's text messages on there where James says, it took him a year, and I can't get him to respond, you know, because Joe wanted nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and this is where it's crazy. Like, you've been convicted of something, and all the evidence was circumstantial. All of the witnesses could benefit from you going to prison. So Jeff and Lauren Lowe could benefit. Everyone was getting something by Joe going down.
Right, exactly. So, the problem is with our system is the federal system convicts you on hearsay, okay, instead of evidence, where a state trial can't use hearsay. And that's where our system is flawed. And that's the same thing of a camera is not allowed in a federal courtroom, where in a state court trial you can record the whole thing, because the feds don't want anybody to know how corrupt and bullshit this is. But I just don't understand why President Biden and the Attorney General doesn't see the evidence. My attorney has sent them all the evidence to the Attorney General and put them on notice that all of these heinous crimes were being committed and still being committed to this day, and nothing is being done about it, and nothing is being done about it. And it's a shame that, Kamala Harris can get on TV and say something about, oh, she's going to support stopping sex trafficking, when they're covering it up.
Yeah, and do you have a date now for your appeal? Have you got an appeal date set now?
Okay, well, the way an appeal works is we filed our briefs, so we're waiting for the government to file their briefs. So they have 40 or 60 days after we filed ours. Ours was filed on the 21st of March. So they have 40 to 60 days after that. And then it goes before the judges, and the judges decide whether or not we have oral arguments or whatever. We actually never have a court date unless we have oral arguments.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of that is public opinion will help sway that. People making noise about your
Right.
appeal.
Oh, hey, making noise is the only thing that works in this country anymore. It's the only thing that works around the world anymore. And that's why the first protest of several scheduled, is the 23rd of this month at the federal courthouse here in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's making noise online as well, and people sharing it and people talking about it, and the hashtag Free Joe Exotic is so important.
It is very important. And today they whitewashed the graffiti bridge down in Pensacola, and it now says President Biden Free Joe Exotic.
Yeah, I mean, do you hold out hope for a presidential pardon, or are you banking now on the appeal being the way to freedom?
You know, I don't know which one it would help me first, because the system is so corrupt, Scott, that I'm almost gave up on that. I'm actually hoping that President Biden pulls his head out of his ass, and I don't even care if he gives me a pardon. I just want him to give me clemency or commute my sentence to time served, because I can go home and I can be somebody and I can continue my life as a felon. I don't give a shit about that. I know they're very concerned about losing this conviction and losing their 98% conviction rate. You know, like we have something to bitch about Russia's 99% conviction rate. We're just as bad. But I'm hoping that for President Biden's sake in this election, he would be smart to commute my sentence because I'm wrongfully detained, and this is so corrupt, and give me time to get out in the world and give him credit for making this right. Because if Trump would have done that, he wouldn't have been calling Georgia for 11,000 votes.
Yeah.
You know, and his ass wouldn't be in trouble right now. But instead, his ego got the best of him, and he listened to Mark Meadows, and Mark Meadows talked him out of my pardon. But you know, if they want to keep the conviction rate, let them keep the conviction rate. I don't care.
No, as long
I
as
just
you're
want to
free.
go home. I
Yeah.
just want to go home, man. You know, and put this all behind me.
If there's one thing, because we've only got 30 seconds left, if there's one thing you could say to everyone listening and watching around the world, what would it be?
Politics is politics, and they numbers scare politicians. We need to hashtag Free Joe Exotic as much as we can, and everybody in America, when you vote or you tell people you're going to vote, you're going to, instead of voting no or nobody, you're going to write in Joe Exotic, and we're gonna make noise.
Yeah.
I love each and every one of you.
Thank you so much for your time again, Joe.
I'll talk to you when you set up a new one.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. Joe had lots to say.
It's like every time he does an interview with you and he talks, he doesn't hesitate, right?
No.
So hesitation. So it's not one of those things where it's like, you know, when someone's lying. I mean, I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm pretty good at reading people. Like I know like you a piece of shit, which is most of everybody. But like he seems to it just flows out of him.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me believe. We're going to get into it. There's some stuff that I want to bring up in a little bit that was like super gross, but it does lead me to believe that he probably is in there wrongfully, like accused, and it's just ridiculous. And I don't know how he's going to be able to get out. But if we're dependent on Biden, I think Biden's already dead. I don't. But y'all, like that poor man.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, we had another call set up with Joe, and that call fell through because the prison service pulled it. And there is more that Joe wanted to say, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring you that. But through the magic of the internet and speaking to Joe's team extensively since that interview got pulled, this episode has been crafted around the things that Joe wanted to say in the world, the things that he wanted.
Awesome.
the things that he said in this interview that he kind of wanted to expand on but didn't have time to, we're going to expand on it for him. There's a lot to unpack. There's fraud, there's sex trafficking, there's lots of mentions of evidence and hashtag free Joe Exotic. There's so much. And we're going to start with our old buddy, James Garretson, and the allegations that Joe raised against him. We're then going to move on to Carol again, but not for too long because Heather might have a meltdown. After that, we're going to get to, in my opinion, emphasize that, in my opinion, what is the root of the problem and what caused all of this, which is Jeff and Lauren Lowe.
I'm going to agree with you already.
Yeah. 99% of the information we're sharing is pulled from James Garretson and Jeff and Lauren Lowe's phones when they handed them over to Joe's legal team because they wanted to join Team Joe for a little while. And they're too stupid to delete their phones and clear them completely. So what we're going to share is stuff that was lingering in the background of their phone.
Yeah.
To run through this super quick, once Joe was inside, Jeff and Lauren and James got kind of everything they wanted. They got Joe's park. They got no stress from law enforcement. When they decided to band together for this like safety in numbers and they all like crept around Joe, like they were like, they knew that they were in trouble again and they all crept around Joe's legal team and they were giving them stuff and trying to help them.
Yeah.
And then when Joe's legal team went, oh shit, do you know what you've just given us? They then disbanded and then come up with loads of allegations of their own, which we're going to talk about on this episode because all of those come out when I spoke to Jeff Lowe. And yeah, that whole interaction is wild and we're going to get there. But like I said, we're going to start with James Garretson. So Joe said James was producing fake IDs to rent houses. He said he was committing credit card fraud and he was buying things online. And basically he was a bit of a career criminal. We're going to kick off with a phone recording of James Garretson teaching someone how to commit credit card fraud.
It's so stupid because like you can go to jail for that kind of stuff too, but you wouldn't go to like prison necessarily unless it was like there's stipulations on that anyways. But it's like fake IDs. Crazy. Are you a fucking teenager? Like I know people rip off other people's like, identity and stuff, but it's like I guess that's basically what he was doing. So that is fraud. So that's pretty bad.
We'll get to the IDs in a minute. I've actually got one to show you, and honestly, it's amazing. And the names he used for fake IDs blew my mind.
They're fucking dumb.
But this is him teaching someone how to defraud the credit card companies.
Anything new? I'm just getting a bunch of no's now because I think it's because of the addresses or something.
Yeah, what you gotta do? I mean, what the address isn't going to get you denial. It's just going to get you docs. They send in docs. But I'm telling you, the best way to build these things is build them all with the same address that you're going to use and only have one address on the file. That's only, in the future, but you can put an address on a file. It just takes a little time for it to sink in.
You ever go on Credit Check Total? Like, they owned by Experian, so, like, if you change the address on there, like, it'll change the addresses, like, on the bureaus as well.
Well, it won't change them. It'll put them in the list. It'll put them in the list, unless... What happens, the more credit pulls you get, the higher the address goes to the top of the list.
Oh, that makes sense.
So...
Because I have a few addresses, I know probably like 3 or 4 that I know for a fact that they're like abandoned, but they still get mail there. So we can all occasionally get them sent there, and we'll be doing pretty good.
Yeah, as long as there's docs, they'll just, they'll ask, like Chase, they'll ask for the docs for the address. What they'll do is they'll mail you a letter. They'll have you send in the docs. They want to know you get mail there.
Yeah, I got 2 of those actually. One of them I had the Jason Lopez one. I think they got the same letter, but it went to the address you had on file there, so it's going to somewhere, and I guess Texas.
Oh, did you apply? Did you use the Texas address when you applied for it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. To Chase, you got to be able to get the mail.
Like, it's going to get approved, and they give like the 30-day message, call on the automated line to it. And they said it, yeah, like, we're just waiting on documents. So, like,
Well,
the Jason Lopez one got approved.
Well, you should be able to salvage that one then.
That's almost. That's all to see exactly what's going on, because, like, yeah, like they said that one got approved.
Oh, the account's approved?
Yeah.
Well, that's a no-brainer. If it's actually approved, you just call Chase and tell them you're in a divorce with your wife, and they'll mail you another card. They'll even overnight it.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even think of nothing like that. I thought it was like dead in the water, because I thought that like somebody had to actually be able to get the card.
No, you just redirect it.
I can't. Like, literally, first off, sex icon. How sexy is he? Secondly, it's just, I don't really know what to say about that. People ripping off other people's credit, their identity to be able to get stuff. That is one of the lowest forms of people amongst other people's, because it's like you ruin somebody's life. You really do when you destroy a credit score, which this is not true crime podcast related, but like, honestly, credit scores are fucking stupid anyways.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to have a good one to get things that you want, But with that being said, we do. This is how we are. And when someone destroys your credit stuff, it can take you years to get that back. And most of the time, it goes unresolved.
Yeah.
Like the thief doesn't get any repercussions a lot of the time.
No, they don't. Do you want to see one of these fake IDs that he made?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look. So we know this guy is called James Garretson. We're all aware of that. Let me introduce you to. That's Jackie Chan.
Okay, girl, y'all better stop. Get me out of here. Girl, no. Why would you? Okay, this is my thing. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but like, why the fuck would you think that would work? Because this is like that.
But it did.
Part in Superbad.
That's
where
the
he's
worst.
like McLovin.
McLovin, but it did.
That's more convincing.
So these are the names some of the names that he used. Some of the aliases he used for his fake IDs. He had Moab Kang, Kanan Sato, Jackie Chan, Sung Young Yu. And he used these to get fake credit cards that he would then, and he used false addresses that he'd use them to spend and buy whatever he wanted and just never pay them back. This in no way implies he's involved in the murder for hire. But it does show that he is corrupt as fuck.
I mean, he could have went as far as using cream of some young guy. Like, that would have still, there you go. But like, why all the Asian names? Wait, like, what is the deal? Jackie Chan, that is super racist. Like, I'm sorry, but that's like, we're going too far. Like,
yeah. And one of the things he was accused of was using these cards to rent properties or to lease properties that it then leased to Jeff and Lauren Lowe for them to sex traffic girls and have sex parties and things like that, of which there is absolutely no proof of that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, there is. There is a lease agreement, which is basically leasing a property to Jeff and Lauren Lowe from one of his fake aliases.
Yeah.
Which that happened. That's not a myth. It's not something we're making up. There is proof.
Yeah.
James Garretson, under one of his aliases, leased a property to Jeff and Lauren Lowe in Las Vegas. James Garretson is one of the main reasons Joe is in prison. His testimony is one of the things that sent him down. And is he really credible? Like, he was under massive duress from the FBI for other offensives. So they were pressuring him to do this. If you don't do this, we're going to get you for this. And he has got a proven track record of fraud and lies.
Yeah, no, for sure. In this whole situation, when everybody started watching Tiger King, because I'm going a little off track, but everybody first started watching this and they were like, oh my God, this is so crazy. But then it was like all the stuff that I'm going to give you credit, Scott, because you've done the work. Tiger King came at the worst time in my life with all the shit going on in my house, right?
Didn't it just?
I mean, it did. But anyways, long story short, all of this stuff came about and you're thinking, okay, it's just a drama show about this dude that may or may have not set up someone to kill Carol Baskin. And now look what we're getting into. You got sex trafficking, you got potential rape accusations, just like stuff like that. And you're just like, how?
Yeah.
This is a whole nother level. This didn't become Tiger King was not that. Tiger King was very just Carol Baskin and Joe Exotic. That's all it was.
Yeah, and all of these side players that were doing so much never got shown to be doing a lot at all.
They
And
weren't really mentioned. They, like you said, they were side characters. They weren't like the main focus because nobody was going to watch Tiger King and be like, "Oh, I wonder if Jeff and Lauren Lowe are sex trafficking." That wasn't even a thing. And
no.
we don't have, okay, I say proof, but like there's accusations of it.
strap in. We've got some stuff. We're going to talk about Alan Glover and Carol Baskin. Don't worry, we're not going to linger on Carol because I think
I'm sick of her fucking self. I don't care about her anymore. She's still alive and whatever.
Yeah, so when I was digging into stuff for this episode, I found something on Carol Baskin that I hadn't found before. And if I'd found it, it would have been in the last episode. So on the night that we'll get to it. So let me speak about Alan.
Yeah.
I'm all over the show. There's so much.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Calm down, 9 drinks, Scott. You're doing great.
So Alan said in a phone recording that we played on episode 2 that it was Jeff that wanted both Carol and them dead. And he kind of orchestrated all of that. And there was no real proof that there was any plan to kill Joe. It was just Alan's word for it. I've got a clip of Alan that I'm going to share where Alan gives some mind-blowing stuff that everyone's aware of. The feds are aware of this and have done nothing with it. So here we go.
I'm going to have Joe's head cut the fuck off. I was going to fucking hook him up with a pea and a fucking wire.
What do you mean?
I was going to stretch it across where he goes with a four-wheeler, like about 30 fucking mile an hour.
So you and Jeff, prior to this whole thing going down, talked about killing Joe.
Yeah. Nobody knows that, but you know.
Including tying a wire around a tree so that he...
I know the wire is still at the park, right behind where I lived in the trailer. It's still laying back there. Whether it hits you in your chest or what, it's still going to get to your neck. He knew about that shit.
Okay.
I even walked in there and showed him where it was going to happen.
I don't mean to laugh, but like it would make sense that they would try to kill Joe. It would make more sense to try to kill Joe than Carol.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole thing is what.
Yeah, there's a piano wire in that park tied to a tree still right now that he was going to cut Joe's head off with. He took Jeff Lowe to show him where he'd set it up and no one's gone to find it.
I just want to let you know that piano wire is very triggering for me because Hereditary, and now that bitch is in the corner behind me. Thank you so much. Like I ain't gonna sleep tonight because I'm gonna be thinking about her going.
Jeff Lowe is at the center of everything. He's implemented. He's kind of implicated in the murder for plot hire. He's implicated with the fraud and the corruption with James Garretson.
Yeah.
He's accused of trafficking girls with Lauren by Joe. So his name keeps coming up and there's a reason for that. And we're going to get to Jeff and Lauren very, very shortly because I had an interaction with these wonderful people and I
They're
want to share it
disgusting.
with you. They really
Sorry,
are.
don't care. Like, to me, if you I mean, it's just trashy. It's,
Yeah.
like, all for clout and for attention.
Yeah, we're going to get really into that. We are going to touch quickly on Carol. So when I was
Okay.
digging before, I found something
Yeah.
that was in the last episode that's now in this one. So on the night that or the night before Don Lewis disappeared, Carol left
Mhm.
the park at 3 a.m. Now she left there and she headed out to the store. Now allegedly
Mhm.
she'd run out of basically milk formula for the cubs,
Yeah.
and it couldn't wait till morning. When she reached the store at 4 a.m., funnily enough, it was closed.
Yeah.
Then on her way back, she broke down and she had to walk back to the park all on her own.
Hmm.
When she got back to the park, she found Don and she explained what had happened. And then Don drove her out and they collected the broken down car and they brought it back to the park together. And
Uh-huh.
they got in around 5:30, 6 a.m. Now, the timeline is so screwed up with that thrown into it because Don apparently
Yeah.
left at like 6 a.m. So you're telling me Don got up at 3:30, 4 o'clock when Carol got in. He then drove her, got the car, drove the car back. After he'd done all that, he went straight out, packed his bags, and fucked off to Argentina. I don't buy it at all.
No, and I remember, hearing this piece of information whenever I was watching that documentary, and it was when they were interviewing, like, his actual well, his wife, ex-wife, before he married Carol, Jesus, and, so that was said too, because they were sorta like, "Yeah, it doesn't add up." I mean, it's kind of crazy how I mean, even a man is probably gonna need longer than that to pack. Like, let's be honest. My husband can pack in 4 seconds usually,
Yeah,
but come on, to get prepared if you're going yeah, it doesn't add up, but again, I think Dawn is becoming an after like, just kind of an afterthought at this point.
yeah.
Nobody's
Or
worried about him because they're like, "Well, he's dead. He's
yeah,
dead," in
or
quotation marks.
Or was this Carol's alibi when she had him killed? She
Yeah.
was off the park. He died on the park and
She's
she
not
wasn't there.
stupid. She's not an idiot. That's the thing. She's not dumb. And
No.
it's the crazy how these people that are criminal can be, like you take a teenager, for example. Well, they're not going to be logical, but like, I'm sorry, but I think Carol's a lot more logical than we give her credit for. And cool cats and kittens and all that other bullshit, it's just for show.
Yeah,
And
I
it's like,
agree.
we know to set up an alibi. Like, if you watch any true crime show, what do? Have an alibi because it's going to probably save your ass.
Yeah, and an alibi when she's out and about and she's broken down and she
Exactly.
called her brother who was a cop at the time and
Mhm.
like that's ironclad.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about my conversation with Jeff and Lauren Lowe, but I need a quick breather, so we're going to take a break
Take a
before.
break.
Yeah, let's do that.
There's nothing better than hanging out with your best friends chatting horror movies. At Voices from the Mausoleum, we have programming that covers everything from found footage to gaming, interviews, and even the first horror morning talk show. Come join us. We're all friends at the Mausoleum.
Make sure you go and check out Voices from the
Yes.
Mausoleum. Go and check out all the other network members as well, all available at yourunpodcast.com.
Yes.
Jeff and Lauren Lowe, let's do it. So after the interview you heard with Joe, I thought it was only fair to reach out
Yeah.
to Jeff and Lauren and say, look, this is what Joe has said.
Ugh.
Would you like to share your thoughts? Would you like to come on the show and sit down with me and Heather and talk it out? And I was amazed, I'll be honest. I was amazed I got a reply, and it was Jeff who replied.
I'm not.
I was. I was like, oh my God, they replied. So it was Jeff who replied, and he said they'd be happy to participate. They'd come on,
Yeah.
but only if they could talk with Joe directly. He then went on a rant, and I've been advised not to share the actual messages because it may infringe privacy and
Yeah.
could result with the episode being taken down if they challenged us, which there is a
Mhm.
likelihood they may.
Mm.
However, I can share the context and the details of the messages
Yeah.
because I've not actually shown you, it's just hearsay. This shit happened,
Yeah.
but it's just hearsay officially.
Yeah.
So he said that Jeff said that Joe was guilty of multiple crimes, including sexual assault on an animal and having sex with underage boys. He added that him and Lauren had been fully investigated by every law enforcement going, and no charges had been filed.
Mhm.
He said that Joe was convicted by a jury, and it's clear that they basically haven't set him up. He also went on to say that Joe is a con man, and they have 7 terabytes of Joe's digital life, including everything Joe thinks he destroyed in the fire. Now, from here, I kind of thanked them for coming back to me and said, look, thank you very much. Like, thanks for all the
Yeah.
extra information. Like, would you like to come on and talk about it? Like, you've given me like 10 paragraphs of essay. Like, there as much information, as much text as you could fit in a message. I got like
Yeah.
5 of those.
Yeah.
And he basically said, yes, but we need to get Joe on. It's all for clicks. It's all about getting Joe on. Let's get Joe on. You drop us into the call. And I was like,
I don't
I'm,
think so.
I'm not down for that. And then he tried a different approach. And I'm going to applaud him on his different approach because it was so inventive. So he basically went down another route and he went, look, Joe has avoided me for 5+ years. I've done everything I can. I'm a huge influence on TikTok and Instagram. I've got a massive following. If you can set up this call, it will make your show an overnight sensation. His exact words were, on Instagram, you have 6,150 followers. If you want 100K overnight, you will put this together. And we would
Girl.
love to participate when you do. He then shared a picture, which he posted to his social medias as well. And
Okay.
I'm going to share the picture with you. So this is the picture he shared. So this is a creator on Rumble, an incredible creator on Rumble called Lauren Loomer. And she's got
Okay.
a massive following. And he shared this image of an interview she'd done with Joe showing that she had really, really low engagement from this interview. And he basically said that we
Oh.
are the way to engagement and they are not. Now, for the record, Lauren Loomer is a fucking powerhouse on Rumble. She is like as high grade as you can get.
Yeah.
This video had 80,000 views at the time this picture was released, or the time he sent it to me. And I'm not saying that he falsified this photograph, but within seconds of me getting it, I went and checked, and the numbers did not stack up. And this video now has a couple of 100,000 views.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't stack up. But the offer was on the table. Me set up
Yeah.
Joe for a public humiliation, and we get a bit of internet fame on the back of it. He also added, there are other shows that are about to make this happen. So the clock is ticking.
Is it? The clock's always ticking, bruh.
For someone who claims that he would never set up Joe Exotic, this seems very, very much like he wanted to set up Joe Exotic again.
I mean, he was literally trying to set up Joe Exotic because the whole catch was like, if you get Joe on, I'll do this because
yeah.
y'all, I don't know. Let me tell y'all something about him real quick. This motherfucker looked like a reject from Poison. Y'all better get out of here. Okay? Like, it don't even make ain't nobody wearing True Religion Ed Hardy anymore. And I don't know why you are. I said what I said. Them rhinestone jeans, get your ass out of here.
My reply to it, and I'm going to say exactly what I said, word for word, so you
Okay.
all know where I sit. He basically said that I don't see the value in the clicks this would get me. And I said, I see the value, but honestly, I think it would be a wasted exercise when Joe hangs up and we get nothing. Also, it portrays our show as deceitful and dishonest and will impact future guests and how we're perceived by our audience. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, but I am not the one to facilitate this for you. I fully appreciate the need for clicks on social media, but for us, the integrity of our show and public perception is paramount over any growth. Like I said, I'm more than happy to have you on for an interview to share your thoughts, but I am not
Yeah.
willing to do what you're asking. And he blocked me.
See, that's what I oh my god. Y'all have no idea. This is but he's a grown man. He's in his
Yeah.
50s
Yeah.
at least, right? Okay. So that's my thing when people block you. It doesn't matter how old they are. I understand some people are like, "Oh, block them because you're trying to be the bigger person." No, I'm petty as fuck. And like, but still, I ain't blocking you because, bitch, I want to read the messages. Keep sending them to me. I'm getting the last word. Ask my
Yeah.
husband. Like, this is it's so childish. He like set you up, almost trying to manipulate the situation. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to block you now because you won't do what I want you to do." But that's not
Yeah.
the point. You reached out to him to get him to do what you needed him to do for our show, not the other way around.
Yeah. And like, I went in with good intentions. Like, I went in going, look, I'm going to
Yeah,
give you a voice. I'm not going to manipulate what you say whatever the fuck you like.
exactly.
And he was like,
Exactly.
no, we want Joe. And it was all bullshit.
It's so
Um,
stupid.
Now, within the messages they sent me a link, which was their evidence against Joe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even after Jeff blocked me, I wanted to give this a fair shake of the stick. We are at heart an investigative podcast. So
Exactly.
I went and had a look. So when I clicked on the link, it took me straight to the link for Lauren's OnlyFans and Fansly page, which after I scrolled down for about 5 minutes, I found the art evidence on Joe bit. There are a few secret recordings of another man having sex with Joe's husband. And
Okay.
to me, this all looks consensual. Like swinging's a thing. This is not a thing. There's some
Yeah.
pictures of Joe in his boxer shorts and a cowboy hat posing with a kangaroo. Now, when you read the
Okay.
description, apparently Joe had just had sex with the kangaroo.
No, he didn't.
It's,
No.
if he'd had,
It would have killed him. Kangaroos are not. It would have beat the living. There is no man that can take on a kangaroo.
no,
It ain't gonna happen, honey.
he would have had scratches. He would have had bites. He would have had
No,
broken
he would have been
bones.
knocked the fuck out like Smokey and Friday. Like his ass would have been gone.
Yeah, there's some out of context recording with Joe's lawyer and a full scale argument between Jeff, Lauren, and Joe. And honestly, that recording, all it shows is that Joe was shit with money, which I don't think is a surprise to anyone listening.
No, it's not. But who isn't sometimes?
Yeah, and it shows that Jeff and Lauren were just horrible to him, like just
Yeah.
viciously horrible to him.
Yeah.
Now, he also threw in the nugget that he'd been trying to get Joe to talk to him for 5 years, and all I get is crickets, which is what he said. All I get is
Okay.
crickets. So, do you remember when I said that Jeff and Lauren jumped on Team Joe for a little while?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they've had no contact with Joe, apart from in 2021 when this happened.
Time, so I don't get to pick and choose what I do.
Yeah, that's right. I have Jeff and Lauren here.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Joe.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not gonna complain.
What a mess we all have, huh?
Exactly. Well, it's just par for the course. Everything we used to talk about. It's a conspiracy to. It's a conspiracy to just end this business, and no one knows better than you how they manipulate the truth to do it.
I just
So he's definitely spoken to Joe. That's a fact.
He has, and Joe wasn't like really on board. It didn't sound like he was super excited to speak to Jeff, but at the same time, it was sort of like a little apprehensive, but like, fuck it. I mean, I'll speak to you. But like that Lauren chick, y'all, she looked like a fucking child. And like her pop is sitting with her. Like, so that's her sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
even get me started on that shit because that's just gross.
See, the two takeaways I've got is that Jeff lied about speaking to Joe for a fact.
Yeah, no, for
There's the
sure.
proof,
Like he did.
And two, if Joe was an animal and a young boy rapist, as they claim, why in God's name would they talk to him on the phone and want to work with him to get themselves out of the shit?
Okay, this is I know. This is the thing. I do not think that, first of all, it's just our opinion. So we cannot say what Joe did or didn't do. We don't know. And if Joe, if he had relations with someone that was underage, that is not for us. We're not discussing that. That is not the point of these episodes right now, because that is not what we're talking about. And then that's just hearsay. We don't know. And then having sex with an animal, like, okay, there are weird kinks, if you want to call it that. People do that kind of stuff. Again, there is no video proof that I've seen.
No, there is none.
You can say all day long, like, yeah, you fucked a dog or you did this. And that's okay. That's kind of where I draw the line, because like, I'm not an animal lover by any means, but like, no, sir. No, sir.
You're not an animal lover, and you're definitely not an animal lover.
Not an animal fucker. That's for sure. I actually don't really like animals that much. But anyways, that's my whole thing, is like, it's all hearsay. And this is the thing. We don't know Joe personally. We cannot speak on what he could or could have not done. We are speculating that this is the whole point. We are just talking about him and the conspiracy to murder Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
If he did those other things, that's between him and whatever. That's not what we're talking about. We don't know. We're just trying to, like, what we feel in our hearts. Our opinion is that he did not actually try to have her murdered.
No, which
there you go.
Then takes us on to Joe's allegations of sex trafficking. And honestly, sex trafficking is the most reprehensible crime I can think of. To make anyone have sex with someone else against their will is fucking disgusting.
It's heinous. Mm-hmm.
I've searched everywhere. I spoke to several people who've been reportedly to have been out partying with Jeff and Lauren. I messaged people on Facebook who've liked and loved their comments and all these kind of things to find someone who would speak out against them. Now, several acquaintances did speak to me, but they wouldn't tell me anything, and they just pointed me back to Jeff and Lauren Lowe.
Yeah.
And then after they pointed me back to them, these accounts blocked me as well. So the question is, do we have any proof that Jeff was trafficking Lauren and that Jeff raped someone? Well, that's not for us to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Joe said in his interview that there are some recordings of things that may have been confessed or not confessed.
Yes.
There are 4 clips that I am going to play back to back.
Okay.
We're not accusing anyone, and you can make your own minds up, because you're all big boys and big girls, so you can make your own decisions of what you're going to hear. I apologize for the language used in this clip. I also will warn you that some people may find what you're about to hear distressing and upsetting.
That's true. Very triggering for the sexual assault.
It really is. If you are upset by any kind of violence or aggression within a relationship, this clip is not for you. But here we go.
Lauren,
I'm not.
You just won't be a slut when I want you to be a slut. It's only when you want to be the slut. When you want to fuck, when you fuck Tyson, when you want to fuck with Tyson, it's okay.
I don't want to.
You did too, you lying cunt. I watched you spread your fucking legs and stick them in his face. You lying bitch.
Because I was on drugs.
Get fucking
Stop. Stop. Jeff,
fucking
stop.
drugs now.
Stop.
You fucking cunt. Let go of me.
Ow, let go.
Let go of my fucking hair. Other guys in our relationship.
That has nothing to do with looking for directions home.
Yes, it does. When I want it to happen, it should fucking happen. Not just you. Because then it's all about you. Then it really hurts me.
Because I haven't had any drugs. You know that.
I tried to give you the drugs, right?
And it didn't work because you
Because you didn't take enough.
Because you bought shit.
Because you didn't take enough.
Please don't speed through here.
Let's just end it, okay?
Look at me.
What?
You think I want to leave you? You think I wanted to look at me?
What?
You think I want to leave you? You think I want to just go randomly fuck all these guys?
No, I want you to fuck these guys so I can watch. I don't think you want to do it. I think you should do it because I want you to do it. Because you cheat on me, because you lied to me. I think you should do anything that I ask you to do because it pleases me.
Whether it just puts me through so much sorrow.
Please me. Give me a break. Does it really? Does sex that feels good hurt you?
But what if it makes me feel uncomfortable?
You know what? So does being with you. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Shut up.
I don't have one, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, you do.
You're a rapist.
Fuck you.
You've raped 2 girls.
Did you hear her ask me to fuck you? Fuck me, daddy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you hear fuck me, daddy? Did you hear fuck me, daddy?
Because, oh my God, if you did, that's so wrong. And it
Did
should
you
not
hear
have
fuck me,
happened.
daddy?
No,
You walked in the room. You
did.
watched it, so I guess that makes you an accomplice.
I think this is the most silent that we've been. I don't even. When am I ever at a loss for words? It's happened only a few times on the show or in my life because I talk too much. But I want to say that from listening to those phone calls, like, first of all, it's extremely toxic on both ends. And they definitely both are on some form of drug, alcohol, something.
Yeah.
Nobody talks like that normally, right? Because when I heard Jeff speak before, he didn't sound like that. Secondly, I'm not too sure whether or not he is forcing Lauren to do something against her will. Possibly, maybe. But at the same time, that it is so much toxicity that I can't. It's fucking trash. It's like they don't, and they have a child together too. Just FYI, guys, so you guys understand that. Like, why?
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
To me, it sounds very much like there's definitely a rape or multiple rape allegations in there from Lauren to Jeff.
There's something going on.
Yeah, it sounds to me like sounds very, very much like sex trafficking and rape, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's just their opinion. I mean, like when you hear something, that's like the proof is in the pudding. It's right there. And so you're kind of like, you still have to make your own opinion about it, but you can't really deny what was said. That was actual audio. That's not like we didn't make that up. Like these two people are seriously toxic and in the worst way possible.
They are. And in the interest of full investigation, I had a dive into what is available from Jeff and Lauren Lowe on their website. For $2,500, you can book a day with Jeff and Lauren, and it's in brackets non-sexual. They then have a contact box where you could request for a price on application for a sexual encounter with Jeff and Lauren.
No, I'm good.
I'm good too. I really, really am.
It's like, take my eyes before you do that. Like, God, please. No, thank you. I would just become a nun. I'm good.
Yeah, I honestly, those conversations left me floored. And if you want to hear, like each one of those audio clips I share come from 40 or 45-minute full clips, which are all available on joeexoticofficial.com. So if you want to hear all of them, like the whole conversation, and like I picked the bits where it's like, oh my God, but there is a whole 45 minutes of oh my God that could not fit into this episode.
It's just like it's so incriminating, so I don't really know how you're supposed to get out of that pickle.
There
'Cause
is no way.
you're too tight in the jar, honey, like, we can't get the top off, you're
I
in there, like
I think Lauren's jar opens quite easily. I don't think it's tight in there at all.
that's so n this is the thing. I don't know, like, if you have a preference for redheads, like, some people do. I'm not s like, that's cool, like, she's not ugly, but, like, she has there's something about her because I went to their Instagram page because I know they blocked your ass. They ain't blocked
Yeah.
me. So, I was just like, if you pay enough attention to the post and to the little reels and stuff that they put on, it's literally like a teenager. I
Yeah.
think she has the mind of like a child almost. Like seriously, like she's not mentally like all the way there. And then he is a pop. So
Yeah.
no.
No, I agree. My overall take on the Joe Exotic case is this, and
Mhm.
again, this is my opinion.
Yes.
Joe Exotic committed some crimes. 100%. I have no doubt in my mind he is
Mhm.
guilty of something. He's guilty of some animal abuse crimes. He's guilty of potentially tax fraud. He's guilty of not being the brightest bulb in the box. I have no doubt in my mind he did not commit murder for hire. There is no way
I don't
he
think
hired
so.
someone to kill Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
He did not do the things that Jeff and Lauren have accused him of. And them accusing him of things is them just shifting the focus away from their own crimes and their own shitty behavior.
Yeah.
Carol Baskin did have her husband put down, and I sit with Joe. He lives under a septic tank within the former park that Carol owned.
Mhm.
Joe is fighting for his life to get out of prison, and I think he
Yeah.
deserves to. What I've seen across these episodes and what I've investigated is everyone benefited from Joe being gone. Carol, Jeff, Lauren, James, the Fish and Wildlife Agency, the government, the federal government benefited by naming something the Tiger
Yeah.
King bill because they pushed it through on the back of a viral movement. Everyone benefited from Joe being down. And it's all because Joe is Joe. He says what he thinks. He doesn't bite his tongue. And when something he doesn't agree with, he says, no, fuck you, that's not right. And everyone profited from his incarceration. James Garretson runs a jet ski business down in Florida,
Mhm.
and he's got
Yeah.
as seen on Tiger King plastered on every fucking thing you've ever seen.
Of course. Yeah.
Jeff and Lauren Lowe call themselves the real Tiger King and Queen. Her OnlyFans and Fansly account, her handle is at Tiger Queen.
That's
Carol
so dumb.
Baskin
Like
got his park. She pocketed the money herself and didn't put it back into her non-profit.
yeah.
There is not a single person involved in this case that did not benefit financially from Joe Exotic going to prison. And in my opinion,
Yeah.
it is fucking wrong.
I agree with your opinion. I mean, like, what else can I say and speak on with that? It just sounds like a bunch of people in a big messy situation. And it's like they each have their own fucking soap opera because you could literally do a lifetime movie of like Jeff and Lauren and then Joe and then Carol Baskin and Dawn. And then like, it's just so much. It's like, how come none of these other people have been touched with a tiny nothing with law enforcement? They're
No.
basically like, "Nah, we're just out there." And first of all, y'all guys, if you want to subscribe to OnlyFans, that's your business. Like, I'm not shaming you. That's totally fine. But please do not waste your fucking money going to her account. Like, nobody wants to see her tiger puss. Nobody's trying to see that shit.
I'm going to say it now. Like, there is a lot of that content available, and it
Yeah.
ranges from $5 a month to whatever.
So stupid.
Lauren Lowe's,
Stop giving them money.
Lauren Lowe's, because she is the Tiger Queen, is
Yeah, sure.
$50 a month.
For what? Like I said, if I want to look at private parts, I'll look at my fucking own, okay? Like, I don't understand why, like, is that really you can make that much money off of
She has thousands of subscribers at $50 a month, like
Well, that's
thousands.
why they're vacationing in Mexico, and that's why they were supposedly supposed to do a zoo in Mexico. I don't know that that's gone down or happened.
No, it
No, I
hasn't.
think it got like, they got slapped with some fines. It was like $96,000, something crazy like that. But I'm like, that's why y'all going to Mexico, 'cause, homegirl is making her money off of showing her cooch cooch. Like, ain't nobody trying to see that. Does the carpet match the drapes? I don't know. I haven't subscribed.
I haven't subscribed, but in my search, I have found images, and the carpet does match the
Probably.
drapes. If anyone's
She
curious,
looks
it
like a
does.
natural redhead.
Yeah.
So sometimes that does. But my thing is just don't.
Yeah,
Just y'all just stop feeding into all this nonsense, and everybody's going to have their own opinion, and I get that. And some people are going to believe this or that, but like, I just don't think I just don't think that Joe conspired something this huge. I know there's been plenty of other cases where people that have like zero intelligence have literally been like, "Oh, I'll hire you to kill my husband," yeah, etc., whatever.
yeah.
This is just too much.
A prime example of that is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She didn't have a brain
Yeah.
cell going, and she conspired to murder someone and actually succeeded
And
in it.
she used her cooch cooch too to kind of like help, because like, I mean,
Yeah.
look, we're just going to be honest. Like, a hole is a hole, and sometimes men don't have any inclination of like, should I dip it in there? But they dip it like a fun stick, and sometimes they do that. Okay, they do it, but like, they were young, and that guy was. I don't want to make fun of him, but he was on the autism spectrum. So
Yeah.
obviously there was some kind of like, she did take advantage. The thing is with Gypsy Rose, she's not. And she's pretty fucking normal, actually. It's just her mom fucked her up during that time.
Yeah. Whereas this is just
This is drama.
It
This is
is.
white trash drama. I said what I said. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to do an OnlyFans. Like, if I did, what would I do? You want to watch me like fucking sit on my couch and watch TV? Like,
I'm going to be brutally honest now. If I thought I could get thousands of subscribers at $50 a month without a hesitation, my OnlyFans would be up and running tomorrow, and I'd ditch all of
hey,
the other platforms immediately.
no, don't ditch me. But like, seriously, you could do feet stuff, because I know for a fact that feet stuff is like, that's in. Like, your
Yeah.
toes ain't got to be cute. No, it don't matter. They can look like Lord of the Rings. They don't care. People are like, that's them tossing money out to you. I've seen it. It's crazy. Like, I'm like,
the You Run
I don't know.
podcast, Heather and Scott's Feet OnlyFans coming soon.
I'll do it.
There you have it. Don't, because we'll get messages, we'll get calls. There you have it. The You Run podcast, I think I can say, is unanimously 100% hashtag free Joe Exotic.
Let's let him go home. Just let him go home, y'all.
Yeah. And I hope that some of you who felt differently about this case after hearing everything we've had to say, maybe share our opinion too now, and you want Joe to go home. And if you don't, that's fine. Like, we're all entitled to our opinions. You can believe whatever you want to believe. As this progresses, because Joe is going to hear about his appeal very, very soon, we will come back to Joe Exotic without a doubt. We will come
100%.
back. We will give you an update. And who knows, maybe in 6 months or a year's time, we may get to interview Joe again as a free man.
Well, I hope so. That would be fun, because I would like to be included in that interview. Obviously, for other reasons, I wasn't. But still, Scott, you're like, doing your thing. And I'm over here like, that's me the whole time. Like, I'm just riding your back like a fucking turtle.
No, that anyone who listens to this show knows that is not true. Yes, I got the interview, but my God, I just ride your coattails every episode because I know nothing.
You see, whatever. We're not going to argue on this, but you put in the work, you do what you do. You got 500 other fucking projects going on at the same time, and then you still make the time to put in a lot of effort for true crime, and you have your other things going. So, I mean, I don't even have cabinets in my house right now. Okay. Like, I'm not even civilized. Like, I'm like a peasant. But anyways.
We cannot thank Joe Exotic enough or his team
Yes.
for everything they shared with us, not shying away from anything we asked. Some of the conversations I've had via text, like when I had that interaction with Jeff and Lauren, after that and after I got blocked, I went to Joe's team and I went, look, this is what they've told me. And Joe's team turned around and said, go and have a look for yourself. You go look. Tell me what you go look. When you've had a look, come back and tell me what you think. So I went and looked, come back and went, they've got nothing. And they went, yeah, they've got absolutely dick. I was like, yeah, I kind of worked that out. But
it's just drama.
A huge thank you to them. A huge thank you to Jeff and Lauren Lowe, who, without a doubt, when I start dropping audio clips of this episode, will make this go viral. So huge thank you to them.
Thank you so much. Now that he's into social media marketing.
Yeah.
With that fucking bandana? I don't think so. Get out of here, Guns N' Roses. Bye.
A huge thank you to everyone who listens and has listened and is new listeners. Please stick with us because we have another case coming, which is going to be on the 1st of June. We don't know what that's going to be yet, but we've got there's some good things in the mix. We've got
I'm excited.
We've got the Black Dahlia. We've got Stephen Avery. We've got who else is left in? The Long Island Killer. The Long Island Killer is in there.
Yeah. But like, if we get Stephen Avery, that's an in-depth. So you guys give us the Black Dahlia. I need to shine because I know a lot about that case.
You pick whatever one you want us to do, and we will always shine because that's what we do.
Black Dahlia.
Or make Heather happy and give us the Black Dahlia.
Yeah, bitch, make me happy.
Do it because I want you to do it for me. I need you to do this.
No, that's how I am. I'm like an actual baby. Do you know that the meanest girls usually need the most like affection and attention? That's like 100% true. Like, I'm sure you know, as Lisa stands up for herself. Like she speaks up, but I bet you like really we're just tiny babies. We're just like, hold me. Like how I
am. On that note, Heather, I'll let you have your sip of wine. You've had your sip of wine. Take us away.
Okay, guys. I am so excited that we got to do Joe Exotic. I am unfortunately a little sad because, you know, this came at a time where my house flooded. It was a hot mess, and I didn't really get to put in 100% of my knowledge. Like Scott's going to say that I did, but I really didn't get to because of circumstances, and my mind was everywhere but where it should have been. But I hope that you guys enjoy our 4-part series on Tiger King, and you better pick the Black Dahlia for our next case because we love you so much. And until next time, you guys, I want you to stay safe, stay spooky, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Exotic. My real name's Joseph Maldonado, the Tiger King as the world knows me, and I'm listening to the You Running podcast right